Hello, in this video I want to talk about local notifications for iOS. So, notifications are very commonly used as a way of letting the user know that there's some new data or something that requires their attention. And we have a couple of options. The first is local notifications. These ones we can trigger through code locally on the device. We can schedule them to happen at a particular time. We can trigger them based on location. And they're pretty easy to create and they don't require any kind of developer license. So this is obviously appealing to us. There's also remote or push notifications, and these ones require server infrastructure, either your own server or a service like Firebase, and you can trigger them on certain devices or as a kind of global broadcast, and this can happen in response to server events, but they do require an Apple push notification token, and this requires a paid developer license, which we don't want to require you to have, so we won't cover push notifications. Having said this, the way that local and push notifications are shown to the user and the behaviors they have on the device are equivalent. So in some ways we can sort of simulate push notifications using local notifications. So, as I just said, we're going to focus on local notifications. There's a couple of things we need to do to use notifications. We need to include or import the user notifications framework. And like many of the things we've been looking at over the previous weeks, we need to ask the user if they allow if they allow us to send them notifications. So we do that using UN for user notifications. User notification center, we ask it for the current center singleton, and we call the method request authorization. And in this case, we tell it what kind of notifications we're delivering, which could be alerts or banners or badges or sounds. And we pass it a completion handler, which tells us whether they grant permission and lets us know if there's any kind of error. So as per usual, we should deal with this in a graceful way. Assuming that permission is granted, then we can go about creating notifications. And how we do this is using a UI mutable notification content class. Sorry, it should be UN mutable notification content class. And this just holds the information on that notification, in this case a title, a subtitle, and some body text. We need to specify a trigger along with a notification. In this case, we're just delaying a trigger for the notification to happen in 10 seconds time and not to repeat. And then we create the notification request. And to do this, we need to give an identifier, a unique identifier. We need to give it the content, which is the notification content we created above on the previous slide, and we need to give it the trigger. And once we've created this request, finally we give this to the notification center, and it will handle the sending of it. It's worth noting this handling of delivery can happen even after the app is closed. So this notification center is part of iOS, and you can trigger these things to happen, the notification to happen at a particular time, and they'll be delivered regardless of whether the app is open. Now, when a notification is delivered, it's going to show at the top of the screen like this. It's also going to show in Notification Center, which is where you swipe down from the top of the device and see all your notifications. This is the behavior, as you might know from existing notifications is different. If you have that app open that the notification is for, then the notification is delivered silently. It still notifies your app, but your app can treat it in a different way. It could say set a badge inside the app, or it could do something else. So we'll look at that more in the workshop this week. So it's also possible to associate actions with notifications. And here's an example of just a quick action where you can either accept or decline a particular notification. So this might be one that, let's say, is adding an event to a calendar and gives you a quick option to either accept or delete it. So how do we do this? We do it using a UN notification action. We have identifiers for each, titles, and the options, again, a bit like with action sheets that we looked at in a previous workshop a couple of weeks ago. The ones that are destructive, that would cause things to be lost, are marked in a particular way so that UIKit can display them as such. So we have an example here of a text input notification. So this is where, as part of the notification, someone could tap on it and enter some text, say a reply to a text message, for example. We need to assign these to a notification category, and we give it the array of actions in this case. And we need to set the notification categories. So this is something that you could do inside, say, your app delegate. To handle actions or a response to a notification, we need to adopt the UN User Notification Center Delegate protocol. And typically you're going to do this in the app delegate or something like that. Here we're just doing it in view controller. And you're going to need to implement this method, which is will present notification with completion handler. And in this case, we can detect that a notification has been delivered. Even if the app's running, this is where we could do something in response to it. And you can call, so you get past a completion handler, and you call that completion handler and let it know how you want the alert to be displayed. Here's an example of did receive a response with completion handler, and these are the different actions, either accept, decline, or comment. And you can see for comment, we get the response object, and we can cast it, in this case, to a UN text input notification response, and it has some associated information, in this case a property called user text that we can make use of. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll go through more details of notifications in the workshop.